Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spirituality with Gabriella. And if it's your first time here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you today. Today we are doing a pick a card reading on your future children. So if you do not have children yet, this will be a very revealing reading for you because you're going to learn about your family and their personalities. And if you do have children, perhaps you want to learn about what your other children will be like who are coming on the way. So let's dig into that a little bit today. And it's very funny because I wasn't even thinking about what specific crystals or props to use. I was very drawn to this right here. This is my little merlion, and I believe I got it in Thailand. And I think this is perfect for a reading about future children because it's fun and it's very cute. So I hope you enjoy it sitting there while we do your reading. So I'm going to introduce the three piles that we have today. Here we have pile 1 with the clear quartz, pile 2 with the amethyst, and pile 3 with the celestite. As you can see, these are all really beautiful big crystals today, so take a second and tune into the one that speaks to you most, and you can pause the video if you would like. Once you find the one that calls to you, then you can fast forward using the timestamps below and get your own personal reading, and I will see you all there. Thank you so much. Okay, pile 1, welcome to your reading. So I have your cards here, and I'm just going to shuffle them and see what comes through about your future children. All right, lovely. So let's start with these. And fun fact, I was specifically asking about their personality when I pulled the Chariot over here, which is a super happy, super successful card. So first things first, I am immediately drawn to a boy's energy, especially as I'm looking at the King of Swords here. So let's tune into this a little bit. So when I see the King of Swords, I believe that one of your children is going to grow up to be fairly logical, quite a good business owner, someone who is very intelligent and intellectual, and I am very much getting a young prince-like energy, or at least that's how I would describe it, because the symbol that I'm seeing in my mind is Kate Middleton's son. I don't even remember his name. But anyways, Prince Henry or whatever it is. I feel like you're really going to dote on this child, and this child is going to have a lot of attention from you. I feel for many of you, your firstborn will be a boy, and you will treat him with a lot of love, compassion, of course, and respect. And because of that, he grows up in a household where he's just set up to be his best, and he's set up to do really cool things with his life. And I think that this gives him the space and time to not only be compassionate, but also to be a little bit of a critical thinker the older that he gets. So you won't necessarily see this up until age 6, but I would say after age 6, you'll start to see his decision-making skills really coming into play. And it could even be about little things like what toy he wants to play with or who he is friends with, but you'll see that he makes good decisions, and that's because of the foundation that you've given him. I'm getting the sense that this child will be fairly active. So when we see the Six of Swords here, this is typically about journeying onto the next destination or the next place. I don't necessarily think this literally means that he's going to be journeying away, although I think some of your children could actually end up going to boarding school and spending some time away if you allow them to do that. And when I say that, I mean it would be something that they would choose of their own choice. It would be a positive thing. So that's something that I think is very probable for some of you. I think as a young child, your child is the type of person who plays with toys, and I'm seeing active things like trains, for example, really being tuned into construction and vehicles and cars and stuff like that. So that just might be something that kind of excites him, or at least this child I'm tapping into now. It feels like he's going to be fairly tactile and he will want to touch things and understand how things work together through touch and through play. His personality, he definitely grows to be more serious over time, or at least that's what I get. But I feel like his personality is very sweet and fun-loving and quite compassionate, especially at a young age. And I think that he's just a typical boy who likes to run around and roughhouse and have fun. So this is the energy that's coming through in these first two cards for sure. I think many of you are going to have a second child, and some of you even a third child as well. So get ready to have quite a few kids around. I see there being celebration about the time when this boy is about 2 or 3. At least that's what I'm getting. So I think you would be ready to bring in another child into your life. And I actually do get more of a female energy for that one, but I don't want to speak too soon because you never know. So I see a lot of celebration. I also see that your children have chosen you, and this is part of your soul contract to bring these children into the world. So I definitely think there will be more than one. And I think that they have chosen you specifically because they know that you will nurture them, and they know that your inner child is still somewhere in there. So for some of you, it is more alive and vibrant than others. But I think because of your openness to spirituality and to understanding yourself on a deeper level, your inner child is something that you can delve into fairly easily. And so I see that your children are choosing you because of that, and because they know that you're someone who is not only fun, but who can be lively and who understands the importance of play as a way of learning. I think you're going to be very proud of your children, especially the firstborn. I'm seeing that the firstborn is the one who really kind of carves a significant path in the future and is the one who has a lot of accolades. And I wouldn't even be surprised if the firstborn wins a lot of awards. Like, this could be anything from getting awarded at their high school for being a good member of the community or doing community service, or it could be getting into a really good school or college. I feel like there's a lot of positive messages here, and definitely this child is going to be quite successful. And when I say successful, I mean that they'll be successful as a person. I'm not just talking about grades and getting like an A plus and stuff like that. I actually feel like they will do well in school, but I don't necessarily see them being like an A plus student for every single class. But I think what's most important, and what is much more important than grades, is actually their personality and the type of person they become. And it seems like they become someone who is very giving and who also has high ambitions. And what I want to say is, I feel like during high school, they're still going to be a very good student, but you might not see the full ambitious person that they are until a little later on in life. This son that you have in particular will reach most of his ambitions after high school, perhaps even after college, and he is going to make a significant impact on the world and on a business, I believe. But I think this would be coming after college, which makes perfect sense. So don't rush it. Even if during high school you're thinking that he's a little bit lackadaisical or not so invested in some of his classes, I would not worry about that, because he's going to be a very well-rounded person and someone who really understands logic and business and growth. So I think you can be very proud of him, and that is awesome. We also have the Chariot here. And as I told you, I was specifically asking about personality of your future children when I pulled the Chariot. This card very much applies not only to the boy, but also to the second child. For me, I am seeing a girl. I am getting a child that is full of light, full of play, giggling, happy, fun. I feel like your children are going to get along, which is really good. I think they will have a good bond. I also think that the female child, if it is a female for the second one, feels quite spiritual and quite open. And so I think she will help you kind of carve out a more spiritual path for yourself too. And I'm also getting that the second born really likes reading and animals. So I feel like it's important to feed them with all of that stuff, reading, animals, so be it, so that they can enjoy and they can have a lot of fun. Okay, I also have the Rider-Waite deck today, and I'm just going to see if there's any other messages that want to come through about your future children. I'm also seeing a lot of stuff about like going to the beach and making sand castles and stuff like this. Okay, I don't know if we were supposed to take both these, but I will. And a lot of them will love being outside, like in a garden, or just having the space to go around and learn and enjoy the energy of the garden and how everything is like flourishing and coming to life, which is good. Okay, so I don't do reversals. I think the cards come pretty much as they're meant to up front, but you could interpret this as them being the opposite of hungry and out in the cold and all of that stuff, and you could interpret this as being the opposite of stressed. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, but since I don't do reversals, we're going to talk about this and see if there's any intuitive messages that come through as connected to these cards. Okay, so here we have the Queen of Wands. This is you as a parental figure, someone who has vision, someone who keeps their children busy. I feel like you will keep your children quite busy. They'll have a lot of different stuff to do. They'll be going to like gymnastics or karate or playing outside or whatever. And that's really good because it allows them to grow as people. Also, I wonder if some of you have a cat and if the cat is significant to the child, because I think they might develop a bond if that is the case. So it feels very good. It's also really cool that you have the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands together here. So this would be you and your partner. This is an amazing partnership. This is definitely bringing in the best type of energy, and also it's helping the children grow in the way that they're meant to. With the King of Wands here, I feel like there is structure in the house, but at the same time, you are still very open to play. You're open to different ideas. It feels like you have a creative mindset and you would never want to box your children in or pigeonhole them into a specific way of doing things or even a specific career. So this feels really positive to me, and I feel like they'll have the right foundation to go for. So the Five of Pentacles here, I think as your children grow older, there does seem to be a little bit more distance between you and them, especially around the ages of 14 to 16 in particular. And I think when they are 17 or 18, it starts to kind of turn the curve again and it starts to get better. So at times you might feel like they're not letting you in completely or they're not telling you everything, but rest assured it's going to change and it's going to swing back around. So don't worry, it's only a few years and those are the teenage angst years anyways. I also think that some of them might be going away further away from you for college and even some of them for high school. So they might be interested in going to a boarding school. I believe some of your future children are actually playing sports too, because I'm getting ice hockey. I think this is also just a symbol for boarding school because I actually went to boarding school. So just know that they might be interested in kind of leaving the home a little bit earlier than you might want them to. The Hierophant here is very good on many levels. One, because the Hierophant symbolizes commitment. And so I feel like your children are very committed to your family. They are the type of children who will take care of you into your old age. and I feel like you have a very strong bond with them, and they will always love you and be there for you regardless of whatever the circumstance is that's going on in your life. So it really feels like a good, tight-knit family. What I want to say is the Hierophant is also about structure and order, and it's interesting. So because this came up, normally you would think that your life would be very structured and orderly. I kind of don't think that this will come into play until your child, and I'm referring to the firstborn here, starts their own business. But for most of their childhood, I actually see you being fairly creative and fairly out of the box with them. And so I think, there might be structure and there might be order in the sense that you might send them to a really good school and that kind of stuff. But you also want to give them the freedom to be creative. So this card to me is more about the commitment that they have to the family and less about the structure and order aspect. But take whatever resonates, of course, and leave the rest. And then here we have the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands represents stress. Normally it represents carrying a heavy burden. I feel like perhaps your future child is going to be a little bit hard on themselves, and also because you do seem to have your children within close proximity of each other, you might just have so much going on where it feels like you're always picking up after everybody. So this is just an honest message to keep in mind. If you are planning to have kids back to back, so to speak, know that you're going to be super busy, but I see that everything really works out in a very positive way, so I don't see anything bad about that in particular. Just know that you might be very busy for a while. Let's see if there's just anything else that you need to know before I send you off. Oh my gosh. Here we are, the Six of Cups. It fell right out. I didn't even see it. So with the Six of Cups, this is an awesome childlike energy. I feel like your two children, because now I'm really seeing two, are very supportive of each other. I feel like they really help each other out. This would be the older giving a present or a gift to the newer one. And when I say a present or gift, I also just mean handing down skills, handing down items, really being a sharing, giving person. So this feels really positive. And with the Six of Cups, this also can mean that your children have a soul contract that has been with you in your life previously. So you might have past lives with them, because when we see the Six of Cups, this is something from the past coming back. And it is always a very beautiful energy and often a childlike energy filled with joy and love. So that feels very positive. All right, group one. So these are all of the messages that I got for you today. If you like this reading, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it if you feel so inclined. And if you would like a personal reading, you can always book using the links in my YouTube banner. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Alright, group two, welcome to your reading. So I'm just going to ask about your future children and anything you need to know about them, and I will start shuffling your cards now. Okay, and before I get started, I also have the Animal Spirit Guides deck here today, and the universe has been yelling at me to use it more. So let's see what comes through. Yay! I love this deck. I think it's so beautiful. Okay, So let's get started. So the first thing I'm getting, and this will not apply to all of you, but just to some of you, is some of you might get pregnant unintentionally. I'm not saying this to fate you or anything like that, but if this has happened to you, if you were pregnant earlier than expected, know that that is perfectly okay. So we have the Hanged Man and we have the Seven of Swords. This is an interesting combination here because I think some of you may want to kind of run away from this situation and not deal with the situation. But the truth is, everything happens for a reason, and that includes your future children coming to you. Now that I have gotten that off the table for the few of you where it applies, and I think it's really only 3 or 4 people, let's kind of start at the beginning again. So with the Hanged Man here, this typically resembles a bit of a delay. So this might resemble that a number of your future children are not coming into your life until a little bit later, late 30s, so to speak, or maybe mid 30s, but know that they are there for you. And it's very important to just trust yourself and trust divine timing, because it does feel like there are children there if you so want them. Remember, you always have free will. So whatever you choose, it's up to you. But if you really want children, manifest them. They will come for you 100%. So I already kind of discussed this one, the Seven of Swords. So for those of you where that did apply, that's a message to actually face the situation and not try to run away from it. When we see the Seven of Swords, this normally is someone who is pretty much feeling overburdened, and because of that, they either try to be crafty and they try to run away, or they just don't want to deal with it and so they run away. But the truth is, this is not a situation to run away from. Your future children absolutely need you and love you, and they have decided to come into your life at divine timing. So trust it, even if it feels hard, and know that you are going to be a very capable parent. I actually see you developing a lot as a parent over time. So with the butterfly energy here, and I apologize for skipping around, but I'll get back to the others. This energy is about spreading your wings. It's about taking on responsibility. It's also about your prime time, so you are able to be the best person you can be and to really share your knowledge and your guidance with others. And that definitely includes your future children. So keep this in mind. Even if you don't feel ready for being a parent immediately, that's totally okay. Most people don't feel 100% ready, but your connection to your children will be deep once you get there, and it's just important to really embrace it. I also want to tell you that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcana cards, and so when those show up, those are cards that are part of your soul path. Those are things that many tarot readers will tell you are fated, so I do believe we have free will, but regardless, these are very strong messages coming through, and there are lessons to be learned from these messages. So when we see the Empress here, the Empress is actually symbolic of fertility, and so one thing I do want to mention is these 2 cards at the beginning. Some of you got pregnant very early, some of you actually get pregnant late, and some of you might actually struggle with getting pregnant at the beginning, but I really don't want you to give up, because when you have the Empress here, that is not only a positive outcome, it is also very symbolic of fertility and bringing that future child into your life. So I hope that if you are in that stage of your life, this gives you some hope. And really don't give up, because it's going to be worth it 100%. I'm seeing a very abundant relationship with your children, and I feel like it is an abundant household. I feel like you have security and you have stability in the way that you need it. And a lot of you are just waiting to bring in the next spirit or the next soul so that you can nurture them and give them the love that you want to give. When we see the Empress, I definitely do get the vibe that there is a little bit of a delay, but I feel like your family ends up being very happy. I also am definitely getting more of what I would call a creative energy. And so this is the energy of blooming, but it's like blooming over time. So again, we have the butterfly here, and the butterfly takes work, it takes patience, and it takes time. So make sure that you're not getting annoyed with yourself if things aren't happening as quickly as you want them to. It's perfectly okay. The butterfly is unfolding and it is helping you make sure that you bring in all of the abundance that you need before that materializes in our 3D realm, so to speak. We also have temperance here. And so not only is this balance, which can represent a little bit of time passing before something materializes, it also is peace, serenity, and calm. And I feel like you and your children have a very open, trusting, and honest relationship. I feel like you guys are really loyal to each other, and it's interesting. It feels like you might even talk about more personal stuff with your children or share secrets with them. So I feel like there is an open, free-flowing relationship here. And even if you look at this image, you can see there's like these two opposing sides, but there's a huge free flow of energy and compassion here. And I feel like that's what it's like for you and your children. I am referring to children in the plural, but know that a couple of you will decide to only have one child, and that's totally up to you. If you want more than one child, I think two is in your field for many of you, but I'm not actually seeing more than two. So hopefully that is the right number for you, one or two, and that makes you happy to hear. We also have the devil here. So the devil is, again, it's a little bit of putting too much pressure on yourself. Often when we see the devil, this is about restricting yourself, chaining yourself. So this is not something that you need to worry about, but you do need to be very positive with yourself. Fill yourself with love and light, fill yourself with good manifestations and positive energy, and then things will materialize in the way that you would like them to in our 3D realm. Don't pay too much attention to this card, but know that when the devil comes up, there is work to be done on yourself and also around you. And I'm going to skip here quickly to the vulture. When we see the vulture, this can feel like thankless work. This can feel like, oh my gosh, I just have so much to do. But the vulture is actually a very significant creature because it cleans up the world for many other creatures out there. And so it will kind of feel like that's what you're doing. You are going to have to be very selfless and very giving for a few years. But in order to bring in the best life with you and your children, it is important to stay selfless. And by staying selfless, you are going to get the best family possible. This is the type of thing that develops a little bit over time. Like I said, we have the butterfly, we also have the moth. The moth is about moving towards the light. It is about moving towards abundance and clarity. So you might start off this journey as a parent feeling very lost and not really being sure of what to do, or you might just feel like you've dealt with a huge delay. Whatever it is, it kind of feels like you start here, but you move your way up, 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 out into the light, and basically there becomes a point in time where you break free and you just enjoy and really have fun with your life and with your children. And what I want you to know is I do see a very significant loyalty between you and your children because on some level they know everything that you've done and everything that you've tried to help them come into the world. So know that even if there is a little bit of a delay, it's perfectly fine. You are going to have a very happy family and there is going to be so much honesty, trust, and loyalty there. And that is the main theme that is coming through for me, at least, as I read your cards. And then here we have the starfish, and I'm just going to hop back up here for a second. So many of us put burdens on ourselves and put pressure on ourselves because we try to adhere to society standards, and that might be anything like thinking that you have to get pregnant by a certain age, or thinking that you have to have everything figured out by the time you're 30 or whatnot. And the truth is we really don't need to put that pressure on ourselves. When we see the starfish, this can be about a beautiful creature. This is typically about someone who is trying to, not necessarily trying to fit in, but trying to seem pleasing and perfect for everyone. Yes, you do have to be selfless in order to bring your children into your life, but you also have to be selfish enough to know that you don't need to do everything perfectly. And yes, it might feel like you're running away. Not everything will be 100% as you expected it to be, but there is so much transformation here, there's so much growth here, and it feels like you really have a very significant positive relationship with your children. So I'm just going to see if there's anything else you need to know about your future children. So I see a lot of you are actually preparing for this now, or at least thinking about getting pregnant now. You have the devil again, so that's 2. So really make sure you're not putting too much pressure on yourself, and I know it's hard, but look, you're going to be successful at the end of the day. So if you're struggling, if you're having challenges around this topic in particular, know that you do have success coming for you, even if it feels like the beginning is a little bit unstable or not as perfect as you want. You definitely have success. It is definitely there for you. So make sure that you follow this and that you trust it, because then you will bring that energy in. And then here with the 2 of Wands, I think that you are planning for this now. You have an adventurous mindset. You have a open mindset in the sense that you're ready to bring more love into your life, and you have a lot of love left to give. What I'm getting is that by doing the deep inner work and really anchoring to yourself and what you have to offer the world, you are going to be most successful. And one of the ways to bring your future children to you even faster, if that's what you want, is to just be more selfless and to put yourself out there even more. And by doing that, I see you being very successful, and I see them coming to you a little bit more quickly. Remember that everything is done in divine timing, so if something feels too slow or too fast, know that there is a significance for it. There is always a balancing act that the universe plays with us, and sometimes something that might not seem perfect in that moment ends up being the best thing that could have happened to you. So this is a very positive final outcome, and I think that is where we should finish this reading. So thank you guys so much for watching. If it gave you clarity and guidance, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it if you feel so inclined. And if you would like a personal reading, you can always book using the links in my YouTube banner. Alright, thank you guys so much, and have a great day. Bye! Alright, group 3, welcome to your reading. So I have your cards here in my hand, and I'm just going to shuffle them and see what comes through about your future children today. All right, so let's start with these, and very significant that you're starting this reading off with the Lovers. That is beautiful. When I first saw this card, I was definitely filled with a very positive, loving feeling, and I believe that is the love that your future children already have for you. I'm getting that a lot of you don't yet have children, and I just want you to know that your future children really love you already, and they are waiting for you on the other side, so to speak, or in the soul realm. Because as you know, we all are souls and we all decide when to come into the world. So they are going to wait for you to tell them when is the right time. So make sure that you have an open line of communication with them to either tell them now is not the time or now is the time, and they will come to you when you want them to come. And I keep saying they because I really think you're going to have more than one kid. I am definitely getting energy around having 2 or 3 kids. it definitely feels like more than one. So that is what I can say for sure. And when we see the lovers here, this is a very significant partnership. It is not only fated, it is full of love and light. This is symbolic of a journey that you will go on together, because I feel like you have a very deep bond and a very deep connection to each other. And I feel like your children will help you grow in your spiritual journey. So we have the Tower here and we have the Ten of Wands. And honestly, I'm getting that the delivery, like the actual pregnancy and delivery itself, might be a bit of a hard experience. I'm not going to go into that too deeply because I really don't think it's productive to tell someone it's going to be some way, and honestly this might only apply to one person out there. It might not apply to all of the people watching this reading, so I'm kind of just going to skip over this part, but I might just say that I feel you are going to put a lot of effort into bringing your children into the world. And some of you might have twins, by the way, so even if your birth is slightly uncomfortable or painful at times, like every birth is, to be honest, I know that there will be a positive outcome. I see it being totally fine in the end, but it might feel like a little bit of a fight. And, don't take too much significance with seeing the Tower. I just want you to know that if you feel like, oh my gosh, this is not going as smoothly as I wanted it to, or whatnot, it's actually okay. It's going to be perfectly fine. But just know, if that happens, don't be afraid, and know that your little kids are coming for you regardless. They just need to know the right place, the right time. And you can even ask your angels and your spirit guides for help with this. You can pray to them and ask them to give you a smooth birth, a birth that is with ease, a birth that is filled with light. Obviously, it is not easy to give birth to a child, but I see you putting in the effort that is required, and I see you making sure that your children are delivered safely and peacefully, so that's good. We have the Ace of Swords here. I feel like with your children, there is a very deep environment of learning. At least that's what I'm picking up. And just as I'm saying that, that makes perfect sense to me, because we also have the Three of Pentacles here. And both of these cards are connected to learning, education, and becoming a higher person and a better person in many ways. And so I'm seeing that you and your future children have quite a deep bond, and you'll actually learn together. This will start with things like baking together and doing the measurements when in the kitchen and stuff like that. So it's going to start in a very small, almost insignificant way. But I feel like throughout your life, you're really going to learn a lot together and go on a journey together, so to speak. And for many of you, this is actually spiritual. For others of you, I think it's more in the business world. So some of you might even have family businesses or be involved in having a family business. So know that your children are coming to help you with that, and you are not alone. Especially if you're starting a business by yourself this year, or if you already have your own business, know that your children are going to help you with that in the long term, and you will not be alone in this. Because honestly, entrepreneurship can be a solo journey. It can feel like you're very lonely at times because there's just so much to do, and sometimes you don't have all the people to ask questions to. But know that your children are going to help you with that, and they're going to make sure that you are successful. I'm going to pull a couple more cards from the Animal Spirits deck, which I have here. I'm going to ask a little bit more about their personality and anything you need to know. Aha, the Octopus. Perfect for entrepreneurs. Octopus energy is the type of energy that wants to do everything. Okay, let's start with these. So when we see the octopus here, I'm not surprised to see it, especially after some of the messages I just shared with you. The octopus is a doer. This is the type of person who wants to learn everything, do everything. They tend to be fairly tactile. They also tend to be fairly creative. So I think your future children are going to be kind of Swiss Army knife kind of personality. Like they can literally do anything, they can build anything. They're very smart. I also am getting a lot of stuff about traveling, and specifically traveling to what I would call Caribbean islands or warmer places. So if you do not live in a warm place right now, I feel like your children will be drawn to being in a warm place. So you might be traveling a lot to an island or somewhere where it's very sunny, and that might be significant for your relationship. I also feel like they're really going to help you around the house, so they are going to be the type of kids where you can kind of train them to help you and do anything. So make sure that you give them the responsibility that you need them to take on. They really are going to try and help you out. They're going to be very versatile in that way, which is really good. We also have the cosmic egg here, and I love seeing this in your reading because once again, this is a symbol that your children are fated. They are just on the other side waiting for you whenever you are ready to invite them into your world. The cosmic egg, as you can see, is all about creativity. It's all about learning. So it's really just a sense of whenever you want that egg to hatch, it's up to you. Just make sure that you tell them when you want them and talk to them as much as possible because they're on the other side. They're waiting for you. So whenever you want them to come in, just let them know. And seeing the cosmic egg and the lovers together is honestly really significant because these are two cards that resemble being fated, resemble that this is in your soul path and that these are the right children for you. For many of you, I do see a girl and a boy. I definitely get pulled to a boy energy. I typically get pulled to boys more so than girls when I'm tapping into energy. I don't know why. So know that you might have two boys. I'm not fairly sure, but I feel like you have two children at least. And then here we have the beaver, and the beaver is kind of similar to the octopus in that this is a very hard worker. This is a loyal person, someone who's willing to put in the work, willing to do whatever they need in order to help out. And it's kind of funny because I feel like this beaver looks a little bit like this merlion here. If I'm just looking at their faces, they look kind of similar. But the beaver is a family-oriented person, so I feel like your children are really going to care about your family. And I actually feel like when your children have children in the future, you will all hang out together. Like it feels like you'll have kind of bigger family gatherings, or you'll just want to all be together and spend a lot of time together, which I see as being amazing and wonderful. And I see you guys having a lot of fun together as well, so it feels really positive. Okay, last but not least, I'm just going to pull some cards from the Rider-Waite tarot deck and see what comes through. This one already did. I definitely get a vibe about family businesses. I don't know, just think about how you might want to use that in the future because your children are part of your soul path and they are part of your business. If you already have a business, they're definitely going to be helping you out. And if you don't have a business already, think about how you might want them to take part. And I am getting 4 as a number, which is significant because we have 4 here too. So I feel like for many of you, you'll have 2 kids and it will be you, your partner, and then the 2 kids. So this 4 of Pentacles is bringing in security. This is financial security for sure. I feel like your kids are going to help you with financial security. It feels like they are the type of people who would take any odd job in order to help you out, in order to gain new skills. So I see gaining skills and learning as being very significant to your children. I also feel like this is just holding on tightly to each other because you have a very strong bond. There is a deep partnership here, and it's a type of partnership that you'll never want to let go of. So just like this man is holding on to this coin, that is how tightly you'll want to hold on to your children. But know that you are on this journey together and the universe is going to keep you together. And then here we have the Fool. And the Fool is a wonderful card to get, especially to end the reading, because it's all about new journeys, new horizons, new possibilities, and bringing in all of the new energy. So know that when you bring in your future children and they actually come into the world, it's going to be like a whole new lease on life. You're going to have a lot to explore, a lot to see together. Like I said, there's traveling involved. There are sunny places involved, so the Fool is a pretty good symbol of all the things that you can explore together, which is really exciting. And I just think that this is a really beautiful reading because the partnership here feels very strong, and it just feels like till death do we part kind of thing. So I feel like you and your future children are going to have a lot of synchronicity, a lot of strong bonds, and it's going to be a very loving relationship. And I actually see the whole family as being very attached too. So it's not just like you're attached to one of them, it feels like the whole family is attached together very significantly in the same way that this Four of Pentacles card is. So I hope that this gave you some clarity and guidance today, and if you liked it, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it if you feel so inclined. And if you would like a personal reading, you can always book using the links in my YouTube banner. Alright guys, thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!